All's my life I has to fight.
Irvin drives a single into left and two.
Monte Irvin could have easily been the first to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball.
We gon' be alright.
We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Monte Irvin was a five-tool superstar for the Newark Eagles with movie star good looks. The real reason that Monte Irvin wasn't first to break the color barrier was because of Newark Eagles owner Effa Manley, who essentially blocked a contract move that Branch Rickey had made with Monte Irvin shortly after he got back from the war. Now, to say that Mrs. Manley couldn't stand Branch Rickey might be an understatement. Branch Rickey was essentially going to come into the Negro Leagues and raid it of its star talent without any compensation to those Negro League owners. And Effa Manley wasn't having it, so she threatened to litigate. That's when he turns his sight to Kansas City to one Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. Monte Irvin would eventually get to the major leagues, but he was 30 years old by the time that Effa Manley ultimately sells him, and to rub it in Ricky's face, she says she went out and bought herself a mink coat, having moved Monte Irvin over to Ricky's arch rival, the New York Giants.
What you want? You a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar, anything.
What up, y'all? Yeah. Soundtrack, what's poppin', baby? Woo! Check it out. First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his lip for a week.
Here's the dangerous Monte Irvin to the plate to face Andy Cooper. Great matchup.
Monte Irvin actually played on integrated teams in high school. He was a varsity player in 4 sports all 4 years and set the New Jersey record for the javelin throw. And he was so good at football, he got a scholarship offer from the University of Michigan.
Cooper delivers.
1 and 2.
Of course, Chris, baseball was Monte's favorite sport, and he always called it the best game ever invented. He said, everything that I have is a result of playing baseball. Ground ball left side could be 2, and that's the inning. Ready to go for the last half of the inning. Stepping in, Monte Irvin. Cooper back to work. And that one fouled off. On the ground to short. On to O'Neill. And Irvin is set down for the out. Bottom of the 7th. Monte Irvin steps to the dish now. Cooper back to work. Tapped softly on the ground. Jump throw. It's there, and that's a great play. So 2 down. Monte Irvin digs in now. Blasted deep, and it's way out of here. Monte Irvin goes yard with a tremendous shot.
I was better when I was still there. Now we're swimming oceans of emotion. Don't nobody wanna dance slow in the rain. Smooth,
Down, runner at third. Monte Irvin steps to the dish now.
No ball. 1 strike.
No score here, but a runner at third with 1 down.
with this isolation, I was 4 years old. Truth be told, I've been battling myself, trying to navigate the real and fake, cynical about the judgment day. I did past life progression last year, and it f***ed me up. Reincarnated on this earth for 100 plus.
Blasted deep, and it's way out of here. Monte Irvin goes yard with a tremendous shot.
Cause I wouldn't listen to him. I didn't care about his influence, only love what I was doing. Gifted as a musician, I play guitar on the grand level. The most talented where I'm from, but I had to rebel. And so I'm one place in the world with my guitar up on my hip. That's the story unfurled.
There was nothing that Monte Irvin could not do on the baseball field. He was the consummate five-tool player. Hit for power, hit for average, could field, could run, could throw. He had everything you needed to be a superstar. Outside of his play internationally in places like Mexico and Puerto Rico, he spent his entire career in the Negro Leagues with the Newark Eagles, where he was teammates with future Hall of Famers Leon Day and Larry Doby. And of course, the three dynamic Negro League stars would win the 1946 Negro League World Series, beating my Kansas City Monarchs and Buck O'Neil. And I don't think old Buck ever forgave Monte for doing that.
Gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta do better, gotta do better today. Gotta do better before it's too late.
Said I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta pick up the pieces and master the puzzle upon us.
Monte Irvin steps in with a chance to break it open early for Newark in this Negro Leagues World Series matchup. Swing and a miss. 0-1.
0-1.
Monte Irvin's 1946 season for Newark should be considered one of the all-time great seasons. He led the league with a .369 batting average, finished second in RBIs, and pushed the Eagles to the title by hitting .462 against Hilton Smith, Satchel Paige, and the Kansas City Monarchs.
Irvin digs in here, already a run batted in today. Obviously, those 1951 Giants with Monte were loaded with young Willie Mays and Hank Thompson on the roster, too. But Larry Doby called the 1946 Eagles one of the best teams he ever played on, with him, Monte, Biz Mackey, and Ray Dandridge, all Hall of Famers.
Monte Irvin was a superstar, not only in the Negro Leagues, but also in Puerto Rico. And it was there in Puerto Rico where a young Roberto Clemente idolized Monte Irvin. Roberto Clemente Jr. told me that Monte Irvin gave his dad his first real baseball glove, and that as a kid in Puerto Rico, Roberto Clemente would carry Monte Irvin's uniform to the ballpark. You see, if you carried the player's uniform, they would let you in the game for free. When Roberto Clemente dies tragically in the plane accident taking supplies to Nicaragua after the horrific earthquake, the National Baseball Hall of Fame waived the 5-year rule for induction consideration. And who does Roberto Clemente go in the Hall of Fame with? You guessed it, Monte Irvin.
For fielding, for throwing, for hitting with power, for hitting for high average, to one of the greatest that ever did it, Roberto Clemente. I met Roberto many years back in Puerto Rico, and we became real close friends.
Magnificent performance from Pittsburgh's right fielder, the great Roberto Clemente.
And what that tells me is this. Roberto Clemente was a hero to so many, but it also tells me that every hero has a hero. And for young Roberto Clemente, his hero was the great Monte Irvin.
So 2 down. Now the left fielder. Line drive. And he snags it. A sensational diving play by Monte Irvin for the out.
I'm a kid, but I think I lost my mind.
Monte Irvin was 30 years old by the time he gets to the major leagues. So he was a shell of himself. Now remember, this is comparing Monte Irvin to Monte Irvin. He was still better than most guys playing in the major leagues, even at 30.
Irvin breaks for the plate. The second steal in World Series history. The Giants lead 2-0.
But as I've oftentimes said, I wish Major League Baseball had gotten Monte Irvin when he was 19, 20 years old, when there was absolutely nothing that Monte Irvin could not do. In 1951, Monte Irvin would become the first African-American to lead the National League in RBIs. In 1952, he followed up with his only All-Star Game appearance. It just makes you wonder, what if? What if the doors had opened a little sooner, when we truly could have seen the greatness of Monte Irvin?
If I had to do it all over again?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I would have loved to have come up sooner. I never saw anybody who could beat me playing baseball when I was, say, 18, 19 years old.
One down. Monte Irvin steps to the dish now. Ripped on a line. No trouble here. Puts it away for the out. 2 down. Lifted in the air. Left field. Pretty well struck. Brings it in. Runner tags from third. Now a relay to the plate, and he's in there as a run scores on the play. Digging in, Monte Irvin. That one's in there. It's 0-1. Next offering is fouled back.
Chill, man, chill, let's get at $1 bill. They told me, chill, let's get at $1 bill.
Oh.
They chill, let's get at $1 bill. They told me, chill,
One down, base is empty. Ripped right field, that's back there. That one way back, and it's gone. Monte Irvin now at the plate. Already 3 runs across in the frame. Here, the bottom of the 7th. And a big swing and a miss.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Swing, and that ball smashed on a line. That one is gone.
And when I wake up, I recognize you looking at me for the...
Monte Irvin steps to the dish with the bases loaded. An extra base hit here could break this game wide open. That one is absolutely belted. And that gets down into the gap. Here comes Mays, and he scores. 3 runs are in. And into third, that's a 3-run bases clearing triple.
When I say the name Monte Irvin, it automatically elicits a smile from me, and it warms my heart because I got to know him extraordinarily well before he passed away. He was one of my favorite people in baseball. He was also one of the founding members of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum there in Kansas City, Missouri, where he would oftentimes be seen there with his good friend Buck O'Neill. And the two of them knew how important it was to build a facility that would pay tribute to this wonderful piece of baseball and Americana, but also to make sure that the legacy of the likes of Monte Irvin and the nearly 3,000 plus who called the Negro Leagues home would play on. Monte Irvin, who would star for the Newark Eagles, would make his way into Major League Baseball playing for the New York Giants, would ultimately make his way into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1973. It was a fitting ending for the man who could have been the first.
Color can't hit a ball, it takes ability. And I'm so happy that they broke that barrier down.
Trust the vibe, Winchester, fly sinister, Philly certified finisher, the prime minister, and God's image, the monument, the homages to the problems, acknowledging how to apply penance for the transgressions that I've accepted.
Monte Irvin steps to the dish now. And fouled off.
City going up, so you better buzz. And you see who really wanted us, who really spilling blood. Everybody tough, so they gotta go and see the judge.
This one belted, deep left field, on its way, gone!
To get a little bread, because I'm in the head, still outside. I don't hide from it, for life, had to fight. For my life, took them hits in stride. If I die, for the guys, have my... like the club, after that go slide. Are you with that? I won't get back, I'm gon' hop out and crack.